Here's a bunch of gearing tips that I've started to pick up as I transition my account into the early to mid-game kind of range of progression, starting off with handling the gear farming dungeons. If we just hop on into Ice Golem's Peak here real quick, we haven't got very far as you can see, but we don't need to have for this quick example. What you want to be using here are the gear filters when you're setting up auto battles. First of all, you're probably not looking for anything that's lower than 5-star. You might even be hunting for only 6 stars. And remember, you're leaving boxes checked for the gear that you wish to keep. So anything you uncheck will automatically be sold when using these filters. And you probably also want to filter out stuff like crappy gear sets that you're just not really interested in. Obviously, some of these do have like edge use cases, but some of them are just kind of completely garbage and will be auto sells no matter what. And it's just going to save you some time. It's just convenient. Yeah, make sure that you're doing this. Now, farming all of those dungeons can get a little bit energy intensive. So if you need a quick refill, make sure to use our happy little promo code, GAMELEAP, which will get you 10 experience brews, 1 energy refill, and 100k silver. Because why the hell would you not? What you next want to be doing is heading on into the faction wars and blasting the crap out of these every single day. There's really no reason why you shouldn't be expending all of your faction wars keys on the daily in order to maximize the amount of crafting supplies you're getting for the forge. The resilience set is completely, or rather the resilience set reagents are completely farmed from faction wars, and so you should always have a good little stockpile of resilience gear that you can craft out. Why is this also important to do? It's not because resilience is particularly strong. You might use it a little bit here and there, but you mostly want to be doing something a little bit like this. Selecting the lower rank resilience gear, crafting it in big batches of 10, not using any glyphs, by the way. While doing this, of course, you want to save all of your glyphs. You're just crafting these in batches of 10 to make silver, first of all, right? Because you just sell everything that you craft. And you can also be doing this during a clan versus clan event to earn clan tournament points. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the objectives menu, you can see that you earn a pretty solid amount of points from just crafting stuff in the forge. And of course, if you've got a crap load of resilience crafting materials, then you can craft the hell out of the higher rank stuff and be earning more clan versus clan tournament points and a bit more silver as well. But there it is. That just depends where you are at. So moral of the story is always be farming faction wars and yeah, be earning a good amount of silver from crafting your resilience gear and clan tournament points at the same time. It's very, very important that you're always double dipping when spending resources like this. Next up, when it comes to refining your gear and deciding which pieces to hold on to and to upgrade, the first thing you want to do is actually establish that the gear has stats that kind of match what the gear is going to be used for. A nice hard and fast rule to get this right is to try and match the substats or even the main stats on your gear to whatever the set bonus for that artifact set is giving you. For example, this is a perception set, and so we're hoping to roll into accuracy and speed on these perception items. It's just a pretty damn good rule of thumb. And so while this Hatatsu's artifact sets are all over the place, we got a random couple of pieces of Slayer set on them and everything because I'm just making do with what I've got, which, believe me, isn't a lot on this account. I'm just kind of throwing anything on them. These perception items on him are pretty decent, right? We got some accuracy that we rolled into a little bit, and while the other stats aren't optimal, you know, it's a bit of plus defense as well. These are some pretty okay gloves for where my account is at for Hatatsu. There's a lot of optimization that can be done here, obviously, but I was happy to upgrade these to 16 for now. Later on, the more you're refining your gear, these gloves would kind of be trashed here, right? Same thing with the boots, pretty good. We got speed here, we managed to roll into defense and a bit more plus accuracy here as well, so we're matching up with the entire point of the accuracy on the perception set. And overall, these are just pretty damn good boots, minus the crit damage for Hatatsu. Now, what I should not have done realistically is upgrade these all the way to level 16. Actually, I won't say that. For where my account's at right now, I think having these at level 16 is just fine, but if I just slide my camera up a little bit, it'll come a point with your account after the first few months where you start to get much more picky with what kind of gear you're actually going to invest the silver and, most importantly, your stronger glyphs into, and deciding what gear to do that to, what gear to invest in becomes a mini game unto itself. So as you can see, this right here is a Slayer chest piece. The Slayer set is, of course, all about doing damage, increasing crit, all of that good stuff. And so the fact that it has attack percentage as its primary stat is pretty good. Like, we can work with that, right? As long as it's not something like defense or like flat HP or something, like something really bad like that. Something non-aggressive, I should say, that just doesn't match the Slayer set theme at all. We could probably make this work. Now, before we go ahead and just upgrade it all the way to level 16, what we want to do is ascend this item one time. Why do we want to do that? We want to see what its ascension stat is going to be. It can be any one of these stats listed down here, and what we're really hoping for is either attack or attack percentage. Because again, if you're putting Slayer gear on a champ, it's because you want them to slay stuff, right? They're probably your nuker. So in order to do that, we have to upgrade this artifact all the way to level 12, but that is where we're going to stop. So we could actually upgrade it 4 levels at a time and just see where the stats go. We do not want upgrade rolls to go into the resilience if we can avoid it. We'd really like any of these upgrade rolls that we can to go into crit damage. HP percentage is the next best, and we're just going to incrementally do this. And if we were to hit something like, ooh, nice dude, we got crit damage, man, that's tight. Okay, if we were to roll like twice already into resistance, this item is, I wouldn't say it's already in the bin, but we're probably talking about like reworking its stats then at that point and just kind of resetting and trying to go again. But we're going to go all the way up to 12 here because we hit crit and we hit the flat health, which isn't really ideal. Obviously, this is a really good chess piece for my account for where I am right now. But if we were looking to like hyper optimize this, then these rolls were not really super ideal. But for the sake of argument, what we want to do now before upgrading it all the way to 16, which is where things get really expensive, what you want to do is just ascend it this one time and just see what stat we roll into. And again, we're hoping for plus attack. What are we gonna get, dude? Please God. Oh Jesus. Oh God. Okay, and we roll into resistance. Which, I mean, it's not useless. Far from ideal though, right? And so what you can do, the whole moral of this little story that we tell in here, is that you want to ascend your item just that one time when you hit rank 12, just to see what stat it's going to roll into. And then if you like what you see, you might want to use that information to inform your decision as to whether or not you want to then invest that big last dump of silver to get it all the way to 16 and start enchanting it with your best glyphs, right? And so I don't have a lot of silver to play with. I'm just going to leave it here before I start bankrupting myself for the sake of making this little demonstration video. But there it is. That's going to be the kind of thing that I'm going to be thinking about on my account in the weeks and months to come as I start to finally get to refine my gear a little bit now that my, champ team is starting to come along a little. It's also worth noting that with sets that are kind of rare, right? For example, the Slayer set is like Forge Pass related. You also can only get the Relentless set, I think, through like certain events and stuff like that. You probably want to be a bit more careful and have a slightly lower standard for what kind of gear you want to hold onto. Always make sure that you upgrade these a little bit. See where the stat rolls go before you decide to sell them. You might just get super lucky with stat rolls, and it might save or rescue a piece of gear that you were otherwise about to sell. And yeah, if a set is just super rare, just be a bit more cautious when it comes time to sell it. And the same thing goes as well, again, if we just go back into the same chess piece that we were just kind of messing around with, if I did want to rework an item, I'd probably want to spend things like these Chaos Ores, right, to sort of reshuffle the stats and like reset an item and let me have another go at it. Only on sets that are rare, that are difficult to acquire, right? You very rarely want to be spending some of these ores to reshuffle the stats on speed boots, okay? Unless it's like mythical quality speed boots, and they might just be like the best item on your account if you get a decent roll, Maybe then you want to take that risk and roll the dice. But all of that is to say, just be careful with your resources and be careful what you sell and be very cautious and make sure to upgrade things first and see where the stat rolls go before you go ahead and either sell an item or use Chaos Ores on it if it is a difficult to acquire set. Anyways, man, with all of that said and done, if you were looking to start off a fresh Raid Shadow Legends account, make sure to do so by clicking the promo link down below at the top of the video description to get your hands on a free Epic Champ and a crap boatload of free starting resources. I hope you found something helpful in this guide. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe, and hell, if you've got any extra tips that you feel people should know when it comes to artifacts, drop them down below in the comments as well, man. Help some people out. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you all did enjoy this one, and I'm gonna catch all of you all just a tad bit later.